Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this week's residency show and tell. Every week we try to feature something new or interesting. This week we have a special Shark Tank feature. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. So Mabel's one of our residents here. You would have seen her talk about her Mabel app in the past weeks. She's made it to a live audition round for Shark Tank Taiwan. Yeah. Well, she will be heading to the studio in Taiwan on the 4th of July, so that's just next week, to pitch directly to the producers. So for those who are less familiar, Shark Tank is the global business reality TV show where founders pitch their companies to investors. The audition format for Mabel will be a 3-minute Mandarin pitch that's clear, commercial, memorable, and investor and TV ready, followed by a 5-minute Q&A. So for today, we are giving Mabel a proper rehearsal before the real thing. So this segment will be largely in Mandarin, but we will switch back to English and a mix of English and Mandarin for the Q&A. We also have a few friendly sharks in the room and online today who will help to pressure test the pitch. For the Q&A, Mabel has asked us not to go easy on her, okay? So that means we need to ask difficult, hard questions. Yeah, these questions should prioritize the business logic, so largely the market, monetization, traction, defensibility, fundraising story, and whether this feels like an investable business. General questions will be welcome after that. English or Mandarin, Mabel will answer as needed. Okay, so as Mabel prepares to come up here, let me introduce the sharks, the Carousell sharks. Okay, sorry, dry run also before the real thing. Little surprise for you, Mabel. Okay, meet our sharks. All right, so we've got Jerry from the Singapore office in the middle, Adrian from the Hong Kong office on the left, and Alicia from our Taiwan office on the right. This was an AI effort using your available photos on Slack and your self-introduction. Apologies if it doesn't look as great as you'd like it to. So anyway, without further ado, Mabel, welcome to the tank. The stage is yours.
All right, thank you so much. I'll just make like a short message, and thanks for all the shout. 谢谢你们今天来支持我，所以我会开始用中文，还有参与一些英文。Sorry for those who actually don't understand like Chinese. You can actually ask me questions. I think some of the visuals might be quite clear. So it's my very first dry run. I don't think I've prepared very well for the Q&A yet, but I'll try my best. Okay, and I think the whole point was that I wanted to be pressure tested, so I really mean it. Just feel free to ask me questions that are potentially like all the blind spots that I have. I really, really appreciate it, so that I don't die actually at the auditions. So okay, I'm just gonna begin, right? So
Mabel， 不好意思，我看不到你的 screen。
哦，等一下，应该是黑色的，对吗？是黑色，
是
因为第一个 slide 应该就是就是这个颜色，因为我
是黑色吗？那就
故意有一个效果，但等一下我现在在调整。 对，
好的，好的。
没问题。我要找那个 screen，对不起。喂。
吃早餐了吗？快轮到你了吧？
哦，我现在在上看现场了，等一下再跟你聊。
好，深呼吸，加油！结束传讯息给我。
对不起，那个不是我的男朋友，那其实是我的 AI 伙伴。我刚刚给你看的就是我想要有的一个效果，我不要天天的日常健康提醒是冷冰冰的一个感觉，我想要维持健康习惯，是一个你想回来天天跟他们一起聊天的 AI 伙伴。大家好，我是来自新加坡的 Mabel， 我是 Mabel 的创办人。Mabel 是个帮助女性维持健康行动的 AI 陪伴系统。那有多少人在现场？有多少人在现场是其实有很多次都想要减重，但是有几年的那些愿望都还是没有完成。15年前我也困在了同一个循环，我试了各种各样的 AI， 我试了各种各样的健身 APP， 但都没效。后来我成为了一个女性健身教练，帮助了上百位女性。我发现我们全都有同样的一个问题。那就是现在市场的 APP 都不能帮我们解决我们真正的困扰。虽然他们可以给我们那些健康的计划，但帮我们维持下去下一步的那些 solution 还没真正达到我们需求。那为何呢？其实市场不缺需求，缺的是能让女性维持回来的支持。现在 SEA Digital Southeast Asia Digital Fitness and Wellbeing 的市场有 2.54 billion， 而68%的用户者其实是女性，但是他们最大的一个问题就是不能留存用户者。那大部分的 APP 看到的只是资料，但我们最大的不同点就是能判断下一步该怎么做。我们虽然很多 APP 都能看到女性们的健康资料，但他们不能真正了解情绪脉络 ，which is the context。还有，他们也不能用那个脉络来帮女性决定做出下一个行动。比如说，可能他们已经这个星期跑了2000步啊，已经只睡了5个小时，还是他们有很多开会。但是如果只是一个 tracking app，那个资料对他们来说可能就没有帮助，因为他们还是觉得很多的压力，还是不能维持下去。我们的 APP 最重要的就是能帮他们解决他们的困扰，让他们知道下一步到底该怎样做。那这就是我第一个 AI 伙伴，是一个欧巴级的健身教练。那为什么是欧巴呢？老实说，每个人的推动力都不一样。我是个很忙的一个 founder， 有时候都忘了吃饭，所以有一个天天来提醒我，叫我吃早饭、运动，不要太多压力的欧巴，对我来说有推动力。但当然，每个女性都有不同的需求，欧巴只是我们第一个 companion。之后我们会有不同的 companion 会主动 check in， 理解你的情绪和生活脉络，而帮你维持你的健康习惯。因为如果你们能解锁，如果你们能坚持你们的习惯，他就会再介绍更多自己的一些资料啊，还有你能解锁剧情张力。Bible 已经在亚洲多地累积了真实使用者，到此为止，我们有了100多位用户者。我们的 Day 30留存率是58.38%，最重要的是71.48%是主动发起的互动。我们也已经 analyze 2万多对话讯息，最重要的是要有一个能真正了解女性需求的 AI system。还有我们的女性不只是回来聊天，最重要的是她们有了深度的互动，而建立了一个 rapport。有些女性还有粉丝式的投入，画了一些 fan art。有些跟他们的朋友从不同的地区，现在我们的用户者从新加坡、马来西亚、菲律宾、印尼，而这都是因为他们的自发分享。还有最重要的是，他们有了欧巴的 encouragement。能维持下一步健康的行动。 那我们的第一步之前是有一个 companion MVP， 要验证有情绪的情感的贴性。现在我们在 build 我们的 trust and action system， 从信任开始带动行动。我们下一步是要 prove 我们的 wellness execution， 而付费健康执行成。我们已经开始 interview 我们的新的用户者，有38%愿意为下个 beta 而付费。所以我们最重要的一个 objective 就是把信任的日常支持转成可付费的健康执行服务。我们现在募资40万美金换18%股权，强化产品安全与个人性，而推展到别的 platforms 的平台和市场，亚洲的市场，建立核心技术与成长团队。那如果你想要再解锁更多的精彩画面，请稍后来跟我聊一聊吧。谢谢大家。
Okay, Sharks, you can turn on your video cameras and ask questions.
Stop share.
Yeah, I think you can
我
stop
先来
sharing.
吧。一文你好，我是 Jerry 梁登达，我是在 Carousell 里的一名员工。我想了解的是你的GTM strategy， 你现在用户是从哪里来的？然后有什么计划去获得更多用户呢？
那是个非常好的问题。那我现在的 go-to-market strategy 其实是 founder-led distribution system， 因为我之前已经当了一个女性的健身教练，有5年多的经验，所以我现在的 community 也有上百位女性，所以我起初 distribution 就是朝他们的方向去借问他们看要不要利用我的产品，试用我的产品。但我们现在已开始在不同的 social media platform 已经开始做 experimentation。我们有两个方法，我们正在实验。第一就是 AI generated 的 user generated content UGC， 所以我们为了我们的欧巴建立了他自己的一个 Instagram page， 所以他会利用他的ASMR 的声响来帮助女性完成她们的健康习惯。然后下一步就是我们也会去到 community 别的女性的 community， 跟他们一起发展。跟他们一起合作，然后把这个产品放到女性的手中。之前我们也起初在很多 live road shows， 还有那其实是我们最好的一个表现。最好的表现是在2天一个午餐的一个 road show， 2天内有了200多个人 sign up for Myball。对，还有但这都是 founder-led， 所以下一步应该是 distribution systems。
所以，假如我们投这个项目的话，这笔钱在未来的6到12个月内，你能够获得多少个用户？你大概知道每个用户的 user acquisition cost 吗？
那是一个非常好的问题。我现在还不知道 CAC and LTV 是什么，因为我现在的 product 还是几个月的一个 development stage。但是我觉得那是个下个问题。还有我的这40万其实不是6到12个月 ，it will last me about 12到18个月。因为现在我的内部的团体是 agentic AI systems， 还有人工一起合作。所以我之后下一步就是 paid execution systems，actually 是多感谢他的一个提议，所以我才现在叫人家开始付费，还有那个效果才比较好。所以我一定会下一步开始做这个计算。谢谢。
好，我还有很多问题，可是先让其他的鲨鱼来问吧。
好，谢谢你 Adrian。
好，我下一个问吧，我是鲨鱼哦，这个很可怕。谢谢你分享美国。我想说，就是你刚开始那个影片哈，那个欧巴的声音非常性感，这是故意的吗？还是什么？
这是其实故意的，还有故意调整的。我就是特意的去 fine tune 了一个 model， 让它有一点性感的一个声响。因为我们其实是适用在我们的女用户者的团队，在 beta users 的时候，我发觉有些女性，她们其实告诉我，她们很喜欢她的声响，还有她们还 pin 了她的 voice note in 她们的 messages， 所以我发觉这是一个很好的一个 hook， 因为她们就说，哦，我也想再听你更多的一个声响，你可以让我听吗？然后我们就会说，对，你下一个健康习惯就是这一步，那你就能再解锁更多的声响，所以是有一点点性感。
行。 行，其实那不是我主要的问题，我是说一下而已。好，
OK，
其实主要问题就是你刚刚提到的是38%的人愿意是付这个 service， 对吧？
对，
那我是想问你，你这个 forecast 就大概就是你这个 projected profit 这一年会大概可能 grow 到有多大呢？或者这一到3年你觉得你这个 projection 会是这样？
那是个非常好的问题，我暂时还没有想到。当然，我是想要，OK，所以现在其实他们在付的费用只是2个星期付了5块，所以我到此其实我还没有做出那个 projection，
明白。
因为之前我根本都还没有本来要 monetize，所以我觉得我还需要去想这个问题，还没有计算出来。But
行
that is a very good question。
对对，其实我最担心就是关于你的这个 API cost， 对吧？现在可能
对，
就是那个付费比较低，但是未来越来越贵的时候，你这个 profit 会怎么去保持到这个 margin？那么对，如果对这个需要去思考一下，
对，那
不然
那是
到时候做
个很好的问题，对，因为我也发觉，因为女性很喜欢利用那个产品，所以她们就一直要看她们的照片啊等等。然后如果我们没有设定好像 free 的 tier 有什么种 features，他们就会一直利用，然后我们的 token cost 就真的会上涨的很高。所
对
以谢谢你提问这个。
好没事。那我先留一些时间给 Alicia 吧。
OK，对，所以第一个问题是，我觉得你刚才的 conversion rate，你说只有38%的人愿意付钱，然后它是只要$5嘛？
5块钱2个星期。
对，老实讲，我觉得这个成本，这个$5其实不算高，可是，在这样子的成本下，你只有38%的人愿意付钱，所以其实让我非常担心，说你的之后的 revenue generation 到底是多快。然后再来的话，就是你现在要求我们$40万，但是只买10% 的 share。这表示说，你预估你的公司是会有$400万的 value 吗？
对，其实
对啊，对，
OK。
所以这个数字跟你这个$5，然后我觉得就是没有搭起来啦。这部分对啊，因为投资如果我们是要 investor，我们一定是要赚钱，而且要看到一定的在一定的时间内，就是要有一个 complete 的return forecast。对啊，所以这部分是我蛮需要这一个资讯，我们才能决定要不要投。
对，谢谢你的问题。That was 2 very good questions。第一点，我可能试试看回复先回应。那个$5的原因，是因为我想要看他们会不会肯成一个 free 的一个 product，踩到下一步，就是为了一个产品而付费。而其实我觉得我最大的一个困难就是我的 value proposition 现在还没有稳定。我要很坦白的说，我还在实验当中，因为我有大多数是2种的 companion， 2种的 users， 一个是 companion， 一个是 utility， 还有他们的那些对待我的产品的那个态度很不一样，所以我本来 pitch 的一个号码就只是要 match 现在companion 还有 wellness apps 的中心点，大概到10到20块左右。但是当我在一直 iterate 我的 product 就会进步，那我其实要复制的，我要pack 的那个 price tag 应该是在15到20块左右。所以这是我的第一点，因为我还很早期的在 experiment， 但是那是一个很好的一个点，因为如果那个 monetization 不能真正的justify 你们的投资，我也非常的了解。那第一步就是第二个，40万在10%，是因为我之前9个月前已经 raise 了一个 angel round， 之前我的 angel round 其实是 at $300万，还有我已经收到了一个 pool of initial 的 funding，and that's why it's packed at 那个 valuation。还有最重要的是，我其实没有时间谈，但是我的产品不只是一个 AI product。我的内部的 internal agentic ops 也是一个很重要的一点，因为我之前也跟了蛮多的投资人聊过，还有我最大的那个点就是，虽然有别的产品也可能会推出他们自己的 wellness companion， 但是因为我很贴近我的 users， 还有我们的团队真的很小， 也用 AI 了，创造了我自己的一个系统。我们的 iteration 的 speed 其实非常快，到此为止，我已经有了5次的迭代，还有我们的用户者其实跟那个 product 的 early traction signal 是很强，因为他们已经发了2万多个 message， 虽然我的 group 的 proportion 很小，所以这点对我来说也是很重要的一点。但是我非常肯定我需要去做那些 projection， 所以谢谢你的问题。
OK，
好，为了还原这个节目的真实性，大家看过 Shark Tank 都知道，下一个环节就是我们要说到底要不要投它嘛。然后我就先来吧。目前这个项目呢，我觉得有很多矛盾的地方，就是像他们所说的，你想 charge 的 amount， 你的用户的成长率跟你的估值都对不上，然后我就看不到你的护城河嘛，我不知道到底你赢在哪里。所以如果有一个资金更多、团队更强、渠道更大的一个竞争者，明天出现的话，我不知道你会怎么去竞争。还有多一个原因就是我不是你的用户群体嘛，我就不了解为什么要用这个产品。可能你用一个性感的小姐姐可能会比较好。所以
市场有很多的。
因为这2个原因，我就不投了嘛。
好吧。
好，我不投。
好，我也就是 echo 刚刚 Jerry 说的那些事情，但是我再加多一点，就是我看到你现在只不过是一个 aggregation， 对吧？就是你把所有不同地方的那种 information 杂集起来，然后你做一个 agent 上去。我是最担心，就是假如果是 Fitbit 或者 Strava 或者其他公司，就是突然间又出这个产品，我就不太知道你这个 value proposition 会在哪里，所以就这个原因，我就会 out， 谢谢。
谢谢。
对，我也是跟前面2位相同的这些观点。对，所以我觉得必须要让我们知道你的 competitiveness 到底是什么。对，就是像今天如果这些 Nike 的那些 app，它突然也出了这一些user friendly 的一些 companion feature，对，你要怎么样去赢过他们，跟他们竞争，这是最大的问题。
谢谢 Sharks 的advice， 我会努力支持下去的。谢谢你们。
Thank you everyone.
继续努力。
谢谢，那些问题真的非常好，谢谢你们从国外来播进来，我觉得 it was really good. Thank you for your shark questions. 我要回去反省。
加油加油！
Oh, do you want
加油
English speakers one?
Let me just add a bit, right? I think we wanted to be a bit more stringent because when you
really
go outside,
good.
it will be even worse than
This
this.
is really good. I
Yeah.
needed it. Thank
So,
you. I
yeah.
feel I am like, this is a very good first run. I think I need more of that. Because now I'm forced to think I should have planned more. And I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing.
对啊，
不好意思，我的中文不是很好，所以接下来我会用
English
英语来问一下。
可以，没问题。
So my biggest concern is right on Mible's getting platform crush because like let's say stuff like Apple has Siri. If they turn into a warm AI character, right? They can integrate with Apple Health, Watch, calendar, messages, voice notifications, everything, right? And they have everything about them, so they are platform native already. If Samsung did something 5 years ago with some AI mascot companion, something like that, it was very early on. So in what world, right, does Mible have a mode or have something that people can't easily copy, especially with all these big corporations, right? And they have everything in tune with this thing already.
I think that's a really good question. So I actually got this really early on, and I realized in my presentation also, and maybe in my like the way I'm sharing, like, I'm not really explained it properly. But I do think that there are actually a few areas in which I am exploring that is potentially like I see as a mode. So if you actually talk about like the large companies like starting their own companions, I'm not sure if you've heard of Grok. They actually started different companion apps that were meant to also be for women, like you mentioned, right? They had a male version of a companion app and a female version of a companion app. But one of the biggest flaws that are existing in this current industry is that a lot of them are catering like the way in which they're producing their product is in a way that is very focused on metrics tracking. And I think the unique mode of Mible is that I'm combining like a narrative element alongside like my understanding of like 15 years of experience from the behavioral kind of expectations that women have and emotional needs that they have, plus the kind of longitudinal data that I would like to gather from that would be gathered if they were able to be provided a more emotionally intelligent and narrative coded kind of companion. But I think that is indeed a very fair point, and I will have to think about how I've been like positioning this and also explore, because you might be right. Yeah. Thanks. Anyone else? Sorry extending so long, but
哦，OK，谢谢你刚才的演讲。
Oh, Ace
你刚刚在说有38%的用户愿意付费，但是他们买单的原因好像主要是因为 AI 陪伴，而不是 wellness 的那个成分。本质上这跟你本身想做 wellness app 会不会有点偏移？那你觉得符合吗？还是你怎么样子看待这个长期定位 or market positioning？
那是非常好的一个问题。还有你说的中文超级标准啊，
谢谢你
So proud, well done。我觉得第一点就是那些付费的人，其实不只是为了那个 companion。其实你说的一点很重要，因为我现在问的那群人，有些告诉我，他们第一个回应是 It's because of the companion。哦，欧巴，我要，对吗？但是有另外一点，是因为他们说 Mabel，I believe in your coaching。我知道你是一个很好的一个教练，还有之前他们已经付过可能有些是付过几千块帮忙做 coaching， 对他们来说那5块 is nothing。我觉得刚才我也没提到，我最重要的一点，我的 vision 就是我要让 Mabel 是个 affordable 的一个 option， 因为我知道有很多女性需要一个 women centric 的 product， 但是他们在市场上非常难找到一个女性专注教女性的一个教练，还有要 take into consideration 他们的那些健康习惯等等。所以我现在在 experiment 的其实是 segmentation of 我的 users， 还有不同的用户者其实有不同的需求。比如你刚才说的对吗？有些 companion app 是为了要欧巴才会上我的 product， 所以现在我就是要找到他们最贴的那点，然后往那个方向发展。但是还是要多一点的 experimentation， 所以你说的那点我也是同意。谢谢。
谢谢。那你刚才也提到，你目前做的很棒的一点是，你作为一个创业者，你的用户对你很有信任，很多是他们之前是你的 coaching student 等等。但是在你长期发展的看来，就是 when you're talking about scalability， 特别是当你刚才提到你想要做 AI UGC 这种产品推广，那你怎么想要继续让users that have not been your students before develop that trust in you and your product？
我觉得那点其实现在我已经开始很注重，所以从开始我把那个名字当成 Mabel， 是因为我想把它真正的设定我的 branding and positioning， 我要让大家先知道我起初开始这个公司的原因。That's why it's like founder-led positioning。然后如果他们现在其实我已经开始了那些SEO、AEO、GEO 的那些I don't know how to say in Chinese，but我开始了这些计划，所以当他们到每个不同的 LM， 如果他们询问要 AI Wellness Companion Mabel， 他们就会看得到那个 legitimacy， 对我来说是很重要的一点。虽然现在我的用户者还不是很大的一群人，但是我觉得下一步就是要调整到有更多的人进入，然后有好的那些评论。我觉得from ground up 的那些review 是对我来说很重要，但是我现在还没有那个 number of users。但后来我觉得下一步就是要有更多的用户者来分享，还有 building 一个一个 community 的那个感觉。
我觉得有那些评论是个很好的方法，因为在你继续拓展的过程中，不是每个人都能跟你有个人的接触或者直接跟你交流过，所以就是要通过你的用户来帮你去创造这个你的产品有多好等等。耶，
谢谢你 Ace。Okay,
thanks. Any other questions from the floor? All right. Otherwise, let's give a hand to Mabel for that very impressive Chinese speech.
I feel like I got grilled. I love it. Oh, so good.
Yeah, and thank you to the Carousell Sharks, Jerry, Adrian, and Alicia. Thank you for participating. All right, we're going back to regular programming in the English now. So we have 3 other residents here to do their demos. In any order, if you're ready, Adib, Ace, and Daryl. They're going to do either one of you can come up next to do your show and tell. No, if you, okay, never mind, you can go last. Okay, Adib will go next. We'll do 4 minutes presentation and then 1 minute Q&A.
Mic test. Okay. Hello, friends. Okay, so like this week, post like last week, what was I saying? So like this week, I think it's I was actually participating in like some hackathon that kind of like propped up last weekend, and then like the submission was like early today. So it's like a sprint lah. But the thing is, I took the chance to digress a bit from the current product, but then to also test something that I've always wanted to test, and that's like how do you create a B2C platform from whatever like Senibena is doing today lah. So long story short, okay, so I think I'll start. So like boring stuff is like the agentic colleague and the bridge stuff, which is like for enterprise. But like during this week, I managed to experiment with Hermes desktop and Hermes agent in particular. So in this scenario, like as part of like the hackathon project, the idea is simple. It's like how do we decouple all the AEC software to bring it to the consumer level lah. So in theory, it's like everybody can design their building lah, because it shouldn't be so gate-kept anyway. Wow, I'm still very nervous. Okay, so like what happened is that technically I just ran like Hermes on like a Windows VM and provided it the tools with the current stack that we always use for modeling. So within like 36 hours, it managed to understand and pretty much recalibrate like its own tool sets to start creating stuff. So I think what happened is like I just asked the basic question as a way to structure everything. So like how might we let the model something closer to fabrication? So definitely like remove the entire like modeling process altogether. And for some reason, it just decided to like, okay, how about we model something simple like a plant pot? So like I think during the entire process, just nice, we have like a 3D printer. So what happened is that, yeah, it like vibe model like a plant pot, which is what do you call it? It's actually like it's watertight and it's like highly tolerant. And I think like it kind of unlocks something like really interesting, because at this entire stretch, I wasn't really like thinking about how to integrate it as part of like the hackathon proposal lah. But I guess with whatever that happened, I think definitely like it kind of allowed for a bit of like a digressional thinking. It's like definitely like whatever we do right now, especially in the AC space, kind of can be given to like a model to pretty much do everything that we need lah. So for this like hackathon project, what happened is, okay, oh dear. Okay, so what happens is that in theory, like right now, so usually when we model something, we have to like pretty much plan like the scope of how to model something. So right now, what happened is like the entire, I guess like hackathon proposal was like, can we allow users to interface? So like say like they walk around, they see something they really like. And the thing is, we always want to build something in real life. But the thing is like the technical operators or tribal knowledge from your seniors are pretty much gone when they just leave office lah. So as a quick run, so what happened is that, so I think OpenAI was providing a lot of credits for this, so was able to push like the model a bit further, and surprisingly, it managed to model a facade. And like this is something that takes like, it doesn't take like donkeys. It takes like at least a week for the entire process of going from specifications and your design intent to something that could be manufactured in real life. As part of like the hackathon scope, is like it kind of ends there because it's all about like learning the preferences and the taste of the user. But I think like the biggest takeaway from this entire process is like, oh dear, it's like definitely I can bring it all back into like the main product, which is still about delivering solutions without having the operator model everything. Yeah. So yeah, I think that I think I think like the biggest takeaway is that I'm still going to carry on like trying to push like the models to start modeling more models. And the thing is that definitely there are going to be like a lot of prototypes. I actually just wanted to ask anyone interested in plant pots because I think like I can't have like so many like spread around lah. But like I guess like if anyone's interested, can just let me know and I'll like probably plan something for you all at the same time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Adib. Questions from the floor? Any questions? No? Or online? All right, thank you, Adib. Okay, just give us a sec. Okay, next up we'll have Ace. Ace, I heard it's your last week this week here. Okay. Yeah, so it's Ace's last week with us, and also shout out she has a hackathon that will be held at the Carousell campus on Saturday that she's organizing.
Yes. Hi guys, I'm really sad. So on Monday at 6 a.m. I fly to Boston, so I will not be here at the residency after that. But
what are you doing in Boston?
Oh, I'm at oh, should I mute this? Oh, I mute that. Okay. Oh, I'll be at Harvard for 2 months. At Harvard Street Commons, it's a startup residency. It's kind of affiliated to the residency in SF, so it's like I guess the like Boston wing. Then for my last month, I'll be in SF. Hey. Yeah.
Nice.
By the way, I thought it was like this super ultra like hard to get into program because apparently they mostly take like ex-Harvard or MIT people. But I just applied randomly and I got in. So maybe you guys should try applying if you guys are interested, because I guess it is not as impossible as I thought. But anyways, yeah. For my demo today, I will just be presenting 3 things I've learned from organizing the hackathon that's happening on Saturday, because very frankly, I have not been doing anything else for the past week and I have nothing else on my mind. So 3 things I've learned. Number 1, on how to build a team, which my team is currently not here because they are hiding somewhere working on the hackathon. But because it was a very stressful period for us, and I think like some of you guys here might be thinking about like hiring like some people to help you out and stuff. It made me think a lot about like the kind of people I hired, as well as like how they have been performing since then. So everyone says to hire people better than you at their job, which is like very obvious, but sometimes you need to guide them to create value, especially if you're transplanting them from another context. So I think for me personally, I didn't necessarily look for people that had experience within startups or within tech, but I looked for key traits and like markers that can be exhibited elsewhere. So for example, like in the US, for example, like people really like varsity sports players. Like if you play a sport in college, people put it on their LinkedIn and stuff, which like, I was like, wow. But I guess it's because that shows that they have like tenacity or drive or like passion and community and whatever. So for me, like, those are some things I look for as well. So for example, if you have a passionate hardware sales guy that is joining your startup to do software skills, obviously you're like putting them into a different context. They're gonna have those skills, but you kind of need to like guide them towards how they're able to create value in that context. And that takes surprisingly more work than I thought. So I had to learn to be like very patient about that and realize that even though I hire someone that's great, like they need some time to like get used to the water and stuff. The second thing is I realized that I hate some VCs. So essentially for the hackathon, we had a lot of partners, like some of them are VC partners. And in general, I was just talking to a lot of like VCs as well as angels in Singapore, because one thing that we wanted to do was to put founders and funders in the same room. And just from talking to a lot of them and understanding how they work, their thesis, like what kind of founders they look for, what their deals usually look like, TLDR, beware when you raise, because I realized that there are a lot of very predatory VCs, although there are also others that will genuinely help fuel your growth. And raising, I guess, is a bit over-cloudified nowadays, because you log on to LinkedIn or X like every day, and then you just see someone raising $6 million, $10 million, and then it just gets them super viral. But I would say raising in and of itself is not like wow, you raise and therefore you are good. So you should probably like think about whether you really need it, especially as well as like whether you need it at this stage. So for example, for ourselves, we did speak to like a couple of VCs. We looked at some term sheets from VCs as well, but in the end we decided to go with strategic angels instead. So food for thought, I guess. Yeah. And I think like the third point is network is important as a founder. It's something that we all know. But one thing that I realized that's really helpful, because let's say you're trying to build your product and then you're trying to fundraise, that's already two almost full-time jobs. And then you want to try to network, that's another third full-time job. So if you're running out of time and like you cannot possibly do that, the fastest shortcut is to embed yourself in a community, which gives you compounded network effect. So for example, when we were looking for venues, it's like there were communities where I was in where, so for example, like Women Dev Singapore, they're like really great. They were actually helping me ask their previous venue partners for like possibilities and like to see like if they could help me in any way. We were in some other like Design Singapore, Product Singapore, and whatever, where they essentially could help us carry some of the heavy lifting. And I essentially was, by being an active member of that community, I can reach like the community leads, the community can reach their community, and so on and so forth. So I find that the highest ROI method, like if you do not want to like go to like a networking event like 5 times a week kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes, TLDR, that's all I had to present today. And yes, thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Ace?
Ace, can you, welcome back, by the way. Hope
Thank
you
you.
enjoyed your visit to KL.
Yes, I was at Refresh. Oh wait, I was thinking, how do you know I was in KL? But yes.
That's another story. Okay, so you were talking about hiring and looking for, I guess, a certain type of people.
Yeah.
Can you expand a little bit more about it? What are the traits or characteristics that you look for? And then secondly, how do you determine if an applicant has or does not have it?
Okay, I would say like I think some of the stuff that I look for are like very obvious, like things that everyone looks for, such as like adaptability or like ability to learn and like absorb new skills, as well as like doing that independently and being able to own a process from end to end. But I guess like one thing that I look for is also like degree of similarity or fit to the way that we already do those things. So for example, like that could be like in terms of like communication styles, or in terms of like as they're picking up something new, it's like how do they go about it? Is it that they just like prefer to read up on it? Do they prefer to like go and immerse themselves in like that like segment or like community, or like do a hands-on project, things like that? Like I guess then, because although theoretically, no matter which method you use, if you end up at that point, it's good and you are where we want you to be. But I guess for us, because we have very limited time and resources, so how similar they do things to how we already do things helps us cut down on the time that we need to like essentially like pivot them or help integrate them, etc. I guess how I look for these things is I like to work directly with them for a trial period. I feel like that helps us make the least risky decisions, because we have an opportunity to look at how they work not just on their own, but also with the rest of the team. So for example, is Wilson behind? Hi, Wilson. So for example, Wilson is like our newest engineer and like growth lead. Like he's the dog builds guy that I was sharing about like in terms of building his profile like a few weeks ago. But for him, like I literally met him at AI Engineer, and I realized that he is very curious, very quick to learn, very passionate, and very like technically skilled. But how would I know if this works with my team, and especially with like Jovan, our other like engineer, who also has his own quirks and like ways of working. So I literally just like put him into the team for a few meetings, looked at how he worked, looked at how he worked with me, and from there, like, you have a better gauge, I guess. The closest thing to that we realized was like pair programming, or like something like a simulation of that working together during an interview. But if I had the resources and time, I prefer to do the second one. Yeah. Oh, some companies in SF actually like fly you out to SF to like work with them for a week. Startups, yeah, because I guess like the cost of making a wrong hire is like really large. So they do heavily invest in like making sure you're the right person. Yeah. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Daryl, ready?
Hi all. I spent the last week just figuring out what to do for my restaurant. And okay, for some context, I actually invested into a couple physical businesses, two of them being a restaurant, right? One's at Scott Square Mall, level 2, is a Japanese omakase. Another one is a European grill fusion theme, something like that, at Suntec in front of Club Vox. We have a partnership with them. Anyways, right, it was just me figuring out what's the best way to approach this for marketing. So I tried reaching out via email, via all of our different sources, based on what we collected for our customers. So for the past year, I've actually been trying to get them to join our membership so that we can blast them with offers, deals, discounts, whatsoever, just to get them to come back, right? And yeah, I just used a little bit of AI to just create all of this and all the different tiers and just iterating on designs, right? And it turned out pretty well. AI did a decent job, right? All the tier progression stuff, and came out with like the general tier list for all of that, welcome letter of like when they onboard into our system, all the different tiers and stuff. And these are just some drafts, right? It's not the best looking, but you get the idea. And yeah, here's me using Codex, and where is it? Yeah, and Codex clean up all of our lists because some customers do have like duplicates on different platforms like Odl, Chope, Google, restaurant bookings, and all that stuff, right? So helped us clean, and we sent it to all of our customers here, and yeah, here's the list of all my customers. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward thing, right? I use AI to improve our life and speed up our process. Any questions?
Questions from the floor?
Mabel, yeah?
They were talking about you.
Sure. So, because I have investments in physical spaces, right, I host a lot of people. And most of these people, right, they really value the one-on-one or maybe the physical meetup because like you meeting someone online versus you meeting someone in real life, right, is two completely different things. You can see their mannerisms, how they act, how they respond, and everything is in real time. Your AI thing, right, lacks that. So like, any way for us to collab? I don't know. I'm just a very open person. So like, if there is any way for us to get more sales from some AI companion, by all means, right?
Okay, guys can take that offline also. Any other questions? Yeah. Otherwise, thank you, Daryl. Okay, guys, thank you. All right, we've come to the end of today's this week's show and tell. Thank you everyone from dialing in. Hong Kong office, I think the whole office dialed in to watch Mabel's presentation. So yeah, thanks everyone. See you next week.